your body is, you should be good. You don't need to gain more fat. What will adding adipose tissue to your body do to help you? It's not going to help you. Hey Charlotte, thank you for your question. Your question was, what is an optimal level of body fat, specifically for a female competitor? You said you're going into the 9th month of your growth. You did a 3-month diet and you're wondering how fat is too fat. And there is this strong trend of getting fat, I guess, in the off season. I guess that's what you meant. No. We have to look at it in a couple of different ways, right? First of all, hormonally, you need to have a certain amount of fat on yourself as a female to have a functional menstrual cycle and just be healthy in general, right? That level of body fat depends on the person. I have had girls that have a healthy menstrual cycle all the way through the show, no problem. I've had girls that, maybe it stopped a few weeks before the show and then it came back when they regained a little bit of body fat. You definitely want to be at that point. That's my marker. Is your body functioning? If your body is functioning, then stay as lean as you possibly can while it still functions. Because think about this. When you diet, it's very stressful on the body to break down that fat, not lose the muscle, get yourself into the bodybuilding shape, and then after the show you have to deal with the fact that you've lost all this weight, your ghrelin levels are through the roof, your cortisol is through the roof, your brain is fried basically, and it's very hard to do the so-called reverse diet that people talk about. It's like reverse diet. Reverse to what exactly? That would be my argument. What are you reversing to? Do you need to gain a little bit of body fat back? Yeah, and guess what? That'll happen naturally. I think within a couple of days of just having a little more calories, that essential fat that your body needs will come back. If you are an enhanced competitor, once you stop using the thyroid, the clen, whatever it is you're taking, you will regain a little bit of body fat to a good healthy level. Now, does the thyroid come back within 2 weeks to healthy functioning? Yeah, it does. But at the same time, you can't expect to maintain like a ridiculous level of leanness without those drugs. If you use those drugs to get into shape, that is, of course. Do I think there is any advantage as far as gaining more muscle? I mean, you have the advantage, right, where you have better leverages. Especially if you have shorter limbs, you may find that having additional fat and water on your body allows you to have better lifting mechanics. You just can lift more weight. And then I guess if you use those, those extra pounds you can lift to help spur on new muscle growth, yeah, there's probably a benefit there. I think the mission should be always to stay as lean as possible, but do so in a sane manner. That means you should be able to go out with your friends and eat intelligently, instinctively, without an issue. The issue comes in once you have people that are so focused on achieving their goal, which you need to be right before a contest. Don't get me wrong, before a contest you need to do that. But in the off season, you should be able to eat instinctively. You go to a restaurant, you want to eat something good, right? I mean, you get like a steak, salmon, just tell them don't put extra oil or butter on it, because why would you want that crap on there anyway? This is your body we're talking about. We want to keep it healthy. And then you'd maybe eat some carbs, and maybe you overdo it a little bit, and the next day you sense a little extra water on you. So you just go a little lower carb that day. You just instinctively go a little lower in carb. That's good. You should be as lean as you can stay while being instinctive. And I know a lot of bodybuilding coaches will disagree with this, because they want to make bodybuilding sound like this super OCD, check all the boxes all the time activity. It's not a science experiment. Your body is your body. It changes from day to day, week to week. You should know this, especially as a female. The female body, if it's working functionally and healthily, it varies depending on what phase of your cycle you're in, right? You know this. So why would you treat your body like it was a computer when it is constantly naturally changing? Now the problem is most people, and it really is most people, They start with too much body fat. They say, I want to do a show in 4 months. They crash diet their way down, they do the show. Maybe they look good, maybe they win, maybe they are one of those people that, you know, those ladies that everything is in shape beside their glutes. And it's just like, it's disappointing to watch it, because you know that if they had just dieted a little bit longer, if a couple more pounds would have come off, if they had just done it a little slower, they would look absolutely ridiculously amazing. But in the very subjective, harsh world that is the bodybuilding world, if your glutes look bad as a lady, you're not going to do well. Just like if you're a guy and you have loose skin on your stomach, you can be ripped and you will still be beaten by some person who is way smaller, maybe not even as lean, but has a tighter looking midsection. Midsection for the guys, glutes for the girls. And don't get it wrong, glutes are important for guys, midsection is important for girls, but number one priority for girls' glutes, for guys, is the midsection. Another consideration is, how do you store body fat, right? Do you store body fat all over, evenly? A great example of this is my client, Bree Marshall. IFBB Pro. We bulked. I don't like to use the word bulked, because her body just naturally grew to this level by eating pretty instinctively, training really hard, and due to the fact that we had done these really long, hard diets to get up until this point. Ages 20, 21, she spent most of the year in a deficit. You know, when she won her pro card, she was down to 128 pounds. It's not a whole lot of weight for somebody who's like 5'7", 5'8". So now in the off season, or whatever you want to call it, in this growth period of time, at age 22, she has got up to 200 pounds. That's a lot of weight. But when you look at the pictures, she doesn't have pockets of fat. She has fat and water all over. It looks even. I know when she diets, it'll come off evenly. If you are somebody that holds like a big pocket, if you hold a pocket of fat on your glutes, for instance, you will be best served to diet that fat off. So let's say that's the contest diet, the first one, and then stay lean enough that that pocket doesn't come back. Now that might take a while. And I always say after the show is the hardest time, right? Because you don't have that carrot on the end of the stick that is, you're going to be basically naked in front of an audience to drive you forward. You don't have that to tell you, no, don't have that little cheat in, you know, while you're watching Netflix at night. That's all on you now. You have to plan for your future, realize that your body is always your body. It doesn't matter if you're in off-season, pre-contest, whatever terms they use for it. You know, there's all these terms. At the end of the day, it's always just you. You are you. This season is now. Your body is now. So you should be happy with how you look. Don't let social media... See, it goes both ways, right? The other way it goes is so many people only post up pictures from a certain period of the year where they're the leanest. And then there are these absolutely bullshit apps out there where you can literally edit abs and stuff onto your body that doesn't have abs. So what does that mean? In my opinion, any picture on social media, it's all bullshit. If you don't see it on the video, it's bullshit. I mean, even stage shots. I saw this yesterday, actually. This lady who won some pro show. She looked crazy, super shredded down, obviously, drugged to the gills and whatever. I mean, cool, whatever. But even that picture by the stage photographer was edited. So you're telling me we're editing pictures of us on stage now. Where does it end? If you're telling people you can edit, and that's the official photographer is editing that picture, of course everybody's going to edit their regular pictures because it's just the way it goes now. So we are moving further away from reality and more into delusion. The good thing is, if you're not deluded, this is a great opportunity to really rise above everybody else, because you can be realistic in yourself and go, I'm at a body fat now where I'm hungry between meals. You should be hungry. That's a good sign. If your body is hungry, you know you're ready to eat the next meal. What else should it be? Should you feel nauseous between meals? No, you don't want to feel nauseous between meals. If you don't want to eat, why would you not want to eat? That would be a sign to me that you have too much stored energy, or that your liver is toxic, or something else isn't going well. Because if you are in a good lean shape, once 3 hours has passed, you're going to be hungry, you're going to be out of fuel, you know, it's time to eat again. So you should be hungry, you should enjoy. This is a good marker. Stay as lean as you need to in order to enjoy the super basic foods that you may not normally enjoy. Let me give you an example. I generally don't like mushrooms. I generally don't like cauliflower rice. But if I'm dieting and I'm lean enough, I do enjoy those foods. So my goal is always to keep myself at a point where I'm not like ravenous, oh my gosh, this is the best cauliflower rice ever, but I can sit down with a bowl of cauliflower rice. I haven't eaten for 3 or 4 hours. I've got cauliflower rice, some mushrooms, some veggies, and some chicken breast, and I enjoy it. I'm not saying it's like eating a burger, but I actually enjoy it. I don't have to force it down. So I suggest that you just focus on you. Don't worry about what other people are promoting. This whole fat thing, like let's all be fat, it goes back to this whole reverse positivity negativity that people are doing, where people are basically saying, pity me, oh, my life is such a hardship, I'm grinding all the time. It's like, no, you know, everybody has hardships, everybody has parts they don't enjoy in life. Going to the gym, you should enjoy that part. That's the fun part. I don't know why you're talking about grinding in the gym. Don't do the gym if it's so hard for you to do. But at the same time, yeah, if you take a ton of thyroid, ton of different drugs, you get yourself down into contest shape, and then you stop all the drugs right after the show, you're going to regain a lot of fat. I've seen ladies, professional ladies, who have been on the Olympia stage 4, 5, 6 months after the show. I honestly barely could recognize them. I barely could. They gained, and it wasn't, like, say, Brie, the example I used earlier. They didn't still have the shape like she did. I mean, they're just straight up fat. So now you're straight up fat. You've probably done this cycle a couple of times where you managed to diet your way back down. And then you think to yourself, wouldn't it be cool if we just said, let's make a movement against being lean? Because that includes us where we are right now. So let's do that. So I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're promoting wherever they feel the most comfortable. And do we want to, think about this, do we want to promote being mediocre? Do we want to promote being average? No. So why would we promote, as a fitness professional, being out of shape? And people always misconstrue this. They go, oh, that means you're saying you should be contest shape. No, I never said that. You should not be contest shape. But let's say if contest shape for a lady, let's say it's, I don't know, 9-10% on a DEXA scan. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more. Once you get back to 16-17%, your body is, you should be good. You don't need to gain more fat. What will adding adipose tissue to your body do to help you? It's not going to help you. There's just energy you have to burn off at a later stage. It's not like you are being more anabolic. If you're growing, you know you're growing. That's why people grow into a show. If they are not using steroids before, then they use steroids while they're dieting. They're on a calorie minus and they are still growing muscle. That is where, think about it, in the off season, you should be growing if you can grow on a deficit. And that's not to promote using a load of steroids. That's just saying that in the off season, if you're just gaining body fat, that doesn't mean you're gaining muscle. It really doesn't. So why would you do it? At the end of the day, you have to do whatever you think is best for you. But my advice is, you do this, like you put so much effort into bodybuilding and doing all this, why don't you look the way you want to look year round? And we all have our little things that we nitpick. Oh, I'd like this to be a little bigger, or this a little, that's one thing. It's another thing when you just look in the mirror and go, oh, I'm way fatter than I want to be. And objectively, you are on the fat side. That's the difference. The difference is having mental sickness where you look in the mirror, bigorexia, you don't see the muscle, you don't see the fact that you're lean. If you can objectively look in yourself in the mirror, you'll know what you need to do. You'll know if you need to gain a little bit more fat or stay a little bit leaner. But yeah, I've seen it. All these people who are now pushing this be fatter thing, it's literally just the side, it's like the carnivore diet is the side effect, the reaction, the pushback against the vegan diet. So you had all these people who are like, oh, I've got to stay really lean. Even though they weren't really talking about staying really lean, they were just posting up pictures on social media constantly that showed them being really lean. So they weren't even, a lot of them were not even staying lean all the time. They were just kind of pretending. So I don't know, I've seen your pictures. You got a great physique. Personally, I think stay as lean as you can. Whatever you feel comfortable at, stay at there. But realize it takes a long time to get a new homeostasis, right? So if you are dieted down to a new body fat percentage, or if you've come up to a new muscle size, you need to hold it for several months until that becomes normal. Sometimes even years, to be honest. Like people who have lost loads of weight, they need to hold this new body composition for a couple of years until it becomes their norm, until their body becomes settled at this weight. So I suggest you try and become as settled as possible at a body composition that pleases you. Let me know if I can do any more to help you, and thank you so much for being a patron. I really appreciate it. It's a new project of mine. I hope to bring value to my followers. Thank you.